Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Wanted to open up this week and talk a little bit about the YGT, your golf tour. If you're here for an update on my golf game, I'll get to it a little bit later, but I've talked about before that I love YouTube golf, and specifically the content creators. I will watch YouTube golf for tips and tricks and this one easy move to add 30 yards to your driver. But I do really enjoy watching Bob Does Sports and Grant Horvat and the Bryan brothers and Good. It's, especially if I'm home alone, YouTube and YouTube golf specifically is on the TV a lot. And I've talked about, and I just mentioned it, who some of my favorite content creators are, and a good bit of them have joined together to form the YGT, which is your golf tour. And there are 4 captains, and those 4 captains are Grant Horvat, Wesley Bryan, George Bryan, and Brad Dalke. Again, 4 of my favorites. Add to that a list of content creators who I was going to say I know. I don't know, but I watch regularly and feel like I know them. Garret Clark, Sean Walsh, Roger Steele, Luke Toomey, Luke Kwon, Peter Finch, Heung Min, Micah Morris, Ryan Ruffels, Josh Kelley, Chance Taylor, Taco. It's a who's who of YouTube content creators. And it's probably 2 weeks ago now, they released the first part of what I think is a 4-part golf tournament. And the team captains drafted teams, and over a 3-video segment decided the winners and I guess losers and big money in play. So the first place team, just for this piece, for this segment, is going to win $250,000. The second place team, $175,000. The third place team, $50,000. And the fourth place team, $25,000. And I think this was made possible by the success of last year's Internet Invitation, which was, I think, again, a Barstool Sports production assisted by Bob Does Sports, and brought together a lot of content creators, not all great golfers. I mean, everybody in the golf space, all different levels there, as opposed to the YGT, which is everybody. Everybody is a good to great golfer. So over a 2-week period, and I was really excited about this when I saw it released, I watched these first 3 episodes. Episode 1 was 4 hours and 45 minutes. Episode 2 was 3 hours and 48 minutes. And episode 3 was 6 hours. So a total of 14 and a half hours worth of YouTube golf in these 3 videos. And started off very excited, but as time went on, my enthusiasm waned. And it was a struggle, I'll be honest, to get through all of it. And I used to joke with my wife and my sons were big fans of like The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings movies. And when a new movie came out, I would tell them, you can go without me. And I think it's about the only movie series where I would say pretty much anything else I'm in. But those movies were so long that what I said is, I know there's good and evil and there's people you're supposed to be rooting for and against. 3 hours in, I don't care. Like, I don't care who lives. I don't care who dies. I don't care who wins. I don't care who gets the ring. Those movies took the life out of me to a point where it just didn't matter to me. And there were a million characters and I didn't care about a single one of them. And while this wasn't that, it wore me out. It is a lot of YouTube golf. And I think it's interesting that I believe they really wanted the viewer to see every shot in every match. And initially, I would say I think that's a great idea because I'd like to see every shot in every match. During the Internet Invitational, you did not see every shot in every match. It was more like the PGA Tour. While they recorded every shot in every match, the videos were short. It was 6 videos that totaled 15 hours. And the first couple were longer because there were drafts and there were some things that went on. As we got towards the end, the videos were more in that 2-hour realm. And you got highlights. You got to see kind of the key points and key things that were happening. And I thought it was really well put together, very well edited. And like I said, while YouTube golf is on the TV a lot in my home, it's generally just me watching. Like, my wife enjoyed the Internet Invitational, and largely because there were characters and drama and people to pull for and root against. And again, they did a great job with that and made it very entertaining. The first shot here at the YGT, again, I really like all of these people, but it got to be hard to watch. And it got to be that I'd get through 10 or 15 minutes, turn it off, come back for another 10 or 15 minutes. I really wanted to get through it. But again, 14 and a half hours is a ton of YouTube golf. And I think that my preference is to be able to tune in 45 minutes to an hour is probably perfect. On occasion, like Grant and the Bryan brothers will do major cuts, and I think those videos are about 2 hours, and that's a lot, but I enjoy those videos, and again, I can break them up, watch them over a couple of days. But I've got to say, at the end of the first pass of the YGT, I didn't love it. There was good golf. I thought it was shot well. I enjoy the people. It was just too much. And I kind of got to that Lord of the Rings point where, as we got to the end, and it was a dramatic finish to see who was going to win and who was not, but I just didn't really, I just wanted it to be over. I did. I kind of wanted to just fast forward and say, okay, who won this thing? So it'll be interesting to me to see how this progresses. Now, I looked today. The first episode has 5.2 million views, and the second and third episodes both have 3.4 million views. So people are watching this thing. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Now, are they watching it all the way through, or are they giving up somewhere along the line? I don't know. And I'm happy for these guys. I'm happy for these people who, I don't think YouTube golf was always lucrative. And I still don't think it is for a lot of people, but for the very best, they've got a real opportunity here to build something, and we'll see. We'll see what they make of it. The other interesting thing that I think came out of this first pass of YGT, and again, in a prior video, I do believe that I said of all of the YouTube golf channels, I believe my favorite is the Bryan brothers because they play good golf. They have on good guests, very likable. I really enjoy George and Wesley. Wesley ends up being a pivotal figure as this winds down. And spoiler alert here. So if you haven't seen it, if you don't want me to spoil it for you, you may want to fast forward through the podcast and come back a little later. But what I can tell you is that it comes down to, on the last day, Team Wesley versus Team Brad, and to decide first and second place. So one of the teams is going to win $250,000. One of them is going to win $175,000. And look, Wesley is a great golfer. He's the one guy here that has a PGA Tour resume, is very, very talented, and a real player. But and again, if you watch any of the Bryan brothers videos, Wesley has, and it's kind of shtick. It's kind of his calling card that when he's on a green, hits the first putt, if he misses, almost no matter how far he's got coming back, and it could be 6 inches, could be 6 feet. I've seen it at 10, 11, 12 feet. He just walks up to the second putt and he says, I'll tap. Doesn't get over the ball, doesn't read the break. And what he always says is, hey, I just watched it go by the hole, so I know what it looks like coming back. Always, I'll tap. And I think it's funny. It's a good bit. And he makes a large majority of them. But every once in a while, he'll miss one, and the other people playing with him just cringe when he misses the putt. But like I said, at this point now, it has become part of his persona. So on the final day, was very close with Team Wesley and Team Brad. Wesley was playing Sean Walsh, and Wesley was up early. I think he was up 4 or 5 strokes through the front 9. But Sean came charging back, and at a pivotal moment on the back 9, Wesley missed a first putt by, I don't remember what, but I would say it was probably 6 to 8 feet. Walked up to the ball, said, I'll tap, and missed, and ended up 3-putting. You don't know how it would have played out if he had made it, what would have gone on, but it ended up being a pivotal moment in Team Brad winning the first portion of this YGT tour. And the money's significant, $250,000 to first place and $175,000 to second place. So $75,000 difference between first and second. And Wesley's the team captain. And I felt like in that moment, he probably should have put the shtick aside and focused on making that putt, because I think potentially he took some money out of the pockets of everybody on his team. And I also think that him doing those kinds of things, it minimizes how good of a golfer he really is. And it almost gives him an out. It almost gives him an out to say, hey, I'm just out here having fun. And again, if you're not playing for anything, I get it. Have fun. But with money on the line, you're the team captain, and he let his team down. He really did. Now, maybe he marks the ball, gets over it, lines it up, and misses it anyway. I don't think, though, anyone blinks an eye at that. Everybody misses putts. But taking the putt lightly, I just don't think is a good look for Wes. So, love him. Love the Bryan brothers. I'm interested to see when they come back out for the next portion of this, if he corrects that. If he says, hey, we're out here playing for serious money. I'm going to play this thing like it's PGA Tour event and do everything I can to make every putt. And I think that's what he should be doing. I think that's what everybody else was doing except for him. And it cost his team. So that's it. It's my quick thoughts review on the YGT. Good golf, good content. For me, it's just too much. If I've got, again, a couple, 2 or 3 hours a week to watch YouTube golf, it's just, that's not going to absorb all of it. There's other things that I would like to watch. And I'm not sure if I'll get through the rest of it. So would love to hear from you. If you watched it, what did you think? Was it too much? Was it just too much to watch? Or are you all in on showing every shot, getting the card cams, hearing what people are talking about, and really giving us that access that we don't get from the PGA Tour? And I think that's what it's all about. Let me know. So shifting from a group of people playing really good golf to one person, me, your host, not playing really good golf. I did get out for 2 rounds of golf this weekend, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. And Saturday, I talked last week about the heat. Saturday was about as nice a day as you can have in July in South Florida. Now, it was still hot, but it wasn't so hot that you just lose the will to be out on the golf course. It was overcast. The humidity was down. It really was. I would say it was high 80s, again, warm, but for July, about as nice a day as you can have. So while I would love to use the heat as an excuse for playing poor golf, I just can't. I can't on Saturday. On Sunday, and I'm going to couple the two together, the heat was back. Sunday was a tough day. Still a little overcast to start the day, but wildly humid. And I think as we got to the back nine, the cloud cover went away, the sun came out, and man, was it hot. I mean, I saw temperatures this afternoon back in that 100, 101, 102, 103 degree range with a feels like of 10 degrees more. So 113, 114, 115 degrees. And it just, you feel like you're in an oven baking when you're outside. So, like I said, I wanted to bring the 2 rounds of golf together because over 2 rounds of golf, over 36 holes, I shot 92 both days, 92, 92. And my ball striking, well, that's not completely true. I hit driver relatively well. I pitched and chipped relatively well. I putted relatively well. But everything in between was the worst it's been in, it might be years. I can't hit an iron. I've completely lost the ability to hit anything. Anyway, pitching wedge to 5 iron, can't find them. It is an adventure on every shot. So, like I said, 92, 92, over 2 days, over 36 holes. I hit 3 greens in regulation. And again, I drove the ball pretty well. That was not that I was just spraying the driver all over the place. I had plenty of opportunities to hit greens and just couldn't. I made, again, over 36 holes, 1 birdie and 5 pars, 21 bogeys, 7 doubles, and 2 triples. In even the 1 birdie, I crushed a driver, had about 80 yards in for my second shot, hit the green, but 35 feet right of where the pin was, and sunk a 35-foot putt that broke hard right to left for a birdie. It wasn't that I hit a great wedge shot in and I had 3 feet. Even when I was on the greens, I was not close. Just a really, really not good. Not a good 2 rounds of golf. You said continued to putt the ball pretty well. 28 putts on Saturday, 31 putts on Sunday. I did have a couple of 3 putts on Sunday. The other interesting thing is I think I hit 3 bunkers on Saturday and I hit 2 bunkers on Sunday. And while I can't hit anything with my irons, I hit really good sand shots on every one of them. Every one of them was out of the bunker, onto the green, and like legitimately good bunker shots. Changed my mindset in the bunker and went back to some things that I had learned before and just tried to find a feel. And how many times have I talked about playing good rounds of golf ruined by triples made because of bunkers? And now I find my bunker game again and I can't hit anything else. This game is just, it's maddening. I can't explain how frustrating it is to be driving the ball relatively well. Not that, again, I didn't hit a few bad ones here and there. Putting the ball, hitting sand shots as well as I've hit them maybe ever, but anything else, I just can't I can't hit the ball. And so Saturday's an early tee time, went out at 7:30, played that round of golf. Sunday's later, Sunday's at 8:30. So I was back out at 7:30 to go to the range and try to work out my challenges with my irons. And I thought I did on the range. I started out shaky, but felt like I was tilting. And again, I'm a right-handed golfer, so kind of tilting to my right as opposed to keeping my posture kind of upright and over the ball. And I worked on that on the range and started to hit irons really well on the range. Went out to the golf course, couldn't replicate it. So yeah, I wish I had more detail to share about those 2 rounds of golf. I mean, those are the highlights. Drove the ball well, putted the ball well, hit bunker shots well, but the approach shots were just atrocious. And I've talked about making up and downs. When you hit a good drive, and a lot of times I've got 100 to 140 yards in for the second shot. And I'm telling you, quite often the third shot, I'm still 70 or 80 yards out. It's not like I'm missing the greens a little bit right and left and have a chance to make up and downs. I'm missing by a mile, and most of them short. And it's not short like, well, I'll just take an extra club. It's short like I'm hitting things so fat and so thin that the ball it's not going anywhere. I'm not hitting greens on par 3s. I'm not getting close to greens on par 3s. And just a really tough weekend. But that's how it goes. I mean, one thing shows up and another thing disappears. I can't explain it. The irons have been in this new quest to play good golf. They've been the strength of my game for the past 2 years. And now they've disappeared. I'm hopeful that with a little work, because again, I have historically hit irons well, they'll come back. And I hope that when they do come back, that everything else doesn't go away, that the irons don't come back and all of a sudden I can't hit driver, I can't hit sane shots, my putting goes south. Somehow I need to get the irons back and keep some of the other things that are going right. So that's it. That's what I've got for this week. Enjoyed the YGT. Thought that maybe it was a little too much golf. Not sure how they do it, but getting those videos down into the 2-hour realm would be wonderful for me. Now, again, if 5 million people watch those videos and they watched them front to back, congratulations, guys. You've got a big hit on your hands. I struggle with finding that kind of time. And, my golf game is I'm stuck on 90, 91, 92. I find something one week and I lose it the next week and something else comes in. So it's just where I am right now. And in all honesty, practice time has been almost non-existent. I did get out on Friday afternoon. I forgot about this with Jason for 9 holes. And I'll tell you, it was a lot of fun. We didn't keep score. We just went out, played golf. In certain circumstances, we'd hit a couple of shots. If you hit a bad chip, hit another one. It's freeing. It's freeing not writing something down on a scorecard, just going out there and hitting golf shots and getting creative. And again, if you hit one and it doesn't do what you want it to, dropping another ball and hitting it again I think it's good practice. And it was good fun. It's amazing. It's amazing how little stress there is when that's what you're doing. You're just out there hitting golf balls, not worried about saving par or saving bogey, just going out there and hitting shots. And I did. I really enjoyed doing that on Friday afternoon and hit the ball pretty well and hoped it would carry into the weekend. It did not. So I'll keep at it. That's all we can do, right? It's a tough game. I'm going to keep working at it. I hope you are too. For the first time in the history of this podcast, I'm taking a week off next week. And I'm traveling for work. I'm not going to be able to get a podcast out on on Wednesday, July 22nd. So I will get a podcast out this Wednesday, July 15th. That's when you'll be listening to this. We'll have to skip July 22nd and we'll be back on July 29th. Like I said, work obligations that I can't miss, and it's just going to make it impossible to get an episode of this podcast out. So first time, I hope you'll allow me the week off and you'll be back. You'll listen to this week's episode, and in 2 weeks, I'll be back, get everybody caught up on how my golf game is, and who knows, whatever else happens to be going on in the world of golf. So, as always, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody. If you made it this far, thank you. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you hung in there for the whole show. If you enjoyed it, please rate, review, and subscribe. And maybe even share it with a friend who is out there on their own golf journey. If you listen on Spotify, leave a comment or a question, or send me an email at breaking80over50@gmail.com. I promise I'll read every one. All music was provided by Epidemic Sound. I'll leave links to any of the content that I mentioned in the show notes. Keep swinging, keep smiling, and remember, it's a game. Get out there and have fun. Thanks, everybody.